Okay, so the cockpit voice recorder is on. So if this meeting crashes into the ground, they'll know what happened. But hey guys, good to see you all. We got nine total, including me. I guess it's a little quiet, but it is July 4th. We just recovered from July 4th, so people may be on vacation, which is probably the case. So we may be more lightly attended here, but that's okay. Um, but in terms of announcements, we are in deep into summer now, and it is just it is July 8th. And in terms of announcements, well, there's a couple. This coming weekend, which should be the Sunday, we have the no, strike that Saturday on July 11th. We have the New England Wireless and Steam Museum tune-up. It's a vintage radio swap meet, and that goes from 9 to 3. So if anyone is looking for something to do next Saturday, here's your chance. And one of these years I'll get over there, but I know I've got other things planned for that day, so I'm out, unfortunately. And then on the following weekend, on the following Sunday, July 19th, is another Fleet MIT Swap Fest. The normal MIT electronics and ham radio flea market. And that goes from 9 to 2. I know, Tom, you've said that's sort of the bookended, the first one and the last one are the ones to go to. But if you're bored, you're looking for something to do, you never know unless you show up, right? Um, and that's about it for now. In fact, actually, maybe Bob, you know the answer to this. The next NJARC summer tailgate meeting, I have to go to the website, but do you know what date that is of the next swap meet in July?
Saturday the 20th.
Okay.
I think it's the 20th. Let me
I
verify that.
I can check. I just thought I'd run that by you, um,
No, that's okay.
but I will definitely update our website because I realize, I usually just check the website to set the dates on the calendar, and it only reports like when I checked earlier this year, it only reported the one back in March. So I will make it a point of fixing that. Um, Anyone have any announcements on other than what I just gave in case I missed something? Doesn't look that way. So I'm going to do, since we had a little like a commercial break, I'm going to turn it back over to Bob to leave off where he started about the radio he was working on.
Well, yeah, let's just say it's a non-working radio and let it go at that. I went to the April repair clinic with this gentleman who had the stories of these radios. Right, I love some of these stories, especially when they're you know radios that have been handed off from generation to generation. I really try to take special care for the radios as well as the owners and let them know that, well, you didn't drop your radio off with a complete total idiot. I do stupid things every now and then, but I'm not an idiot. Trust me, you're in good hands. And the day of the repair clinic, I was limited as to what to do because the radio is a little bit odd. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of this radio. It's a very strange radio, but it was made by a company called GLF.
Hmm.
Okay, and what it is, it's a Bakelite AM FM radio with a 6V6 output and a tuning eye, 6E5 tuning eye. So it's actually a really cool radio. However, there's some caveats to the radio, as I learned.
Okay.
The biggest stumbling block was the day I got the radio. I was very limited as to what I could do. I could not find a schematic for it on the internet. That I did find a schematic for it, but it was a very, very low resolution JPEG, and I had my MacBook with me. I couldn't bring it up on the thing. It was just too, I just couldn't read it. And I still have fairly good vision for my age. So what I said, oh, here's what I'll do. Let's take it now. He brought it to me, and naturally, what happens is these things, the cord was crumpling up in pieces. I said, well, let me throw a cord on it at least. Let me test the tubes. We'll bring it up on my Variac. Let's bring it up on Variac and see what it does. So I did all that, and about an hour and a half later, nada. It just no good. I said, well, I don't know how to tell you this, but would you have a problem with me bringing it back to my home where I could take some more time and see if I could find a schematic. And he was game for the whole thing because this was his father's radio. So after I getting it home, I struggled a day or two, and I was browsing the web to find a better schematic. I couldn't find one, and my wife, who's kind of she's good with Mac stuff and graphics and things like that. What's wrong? And I said, I just can't find a schematic. And I kind of wrote down on paper what it is and everything. About an hour and a half later, she says, how's this look? And she shows me that there's a schematic on the screen. I'm like, yeah, that's the one. I was like, this is great.
Nice.
So, wifey came through for me. Um, Now, the only problem with the schematic I had was I struggled with it a little bit, but I vaguely kind of figured a few things out. But there were no voltage readings. Like I like looking at voltage readings as well, and I could always chase things around. I have a signal tracer, and I got a scope, and I got all the toys to do what I need to do in a case of a problem. But one problem I had was I didn't have. There was a Lochtel tube that I didn't have, and I forget the number off the top of my head. And actually, Rich Lee, president of the club, came through and gave me a tube, so that was cool. I got that part of it solved. However, I said, okay, let me at least put fresh caps in the thing, fresh electrolytics, and go with it from there. So there was a 40, 230s, and a 20. So a 22, 233s, and a 47, all 450 volt. And where the original filter cap is literally in the center of the chassis. So it's in the middle of everything. It was the worst place they could conceivably put an electrolytic cap. So I said, well, I tried to think out of the box a little bit. So I have these terminal strips. So I called the guy up. I said, would you mind if I drilled a hole in the back of this thing and bolt the terminal strip in there so I can put fresh capacitors? Oh yeah, do whatever you have to do. I don't, as long as you can make the radio work, okay. So I did all that. And off and on and through trial and error and a lot of troubleshooting, I just learned today that the 6v6 speaker coil, the speaker transformer, is open. And the reason is that it's either, it doesn't say what wattage this resistor is, but it's linked up to supposedly I think it's a 1250 ohm, kind of a mini dog bone resistor. I guess it's got to be somewhere between 6 and 10 watt. And I guess maybe it overheated because it was supposed to be 1250 ohms. And when I actually measured it, it was like 790 something. So it probably sent too much current or something to that transformer and whacked it. I have a second one of these that one of my New Jersey Antique Radio Club brethren, I did some stuff for this guy a couple years ago. So he gave me that radio in Kutztown. So I just sent the guy an email today, and I'm back to square one. I said, well, I'm going to try to get you this, and he replied back to me, thank you. I trust you, do what you need to do. So I'm back to square one on that. But the little history I know about the radio, you could find some history on this radio. GLF was the name of a predecessor of Agway the farm company GLF.
Yeah, sure.
And the reason why they had someone make these radios, I still couldn't figure out who was the manufacturer who made the radios. But apparently in New York State, in the late 40s, when FM started to really come to fruition now, and Armstrong and Sarnoff had their battles, so then they figured out which frequency you were going to use. So in 1948, this GLF company contracted making these radios to somebody. And the idea was they had 4 FM stations across the state of New York. And the idea is to allow farmers information. Like if I remember as a kid, on Saturday mornings, you turn on the TV at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm anticipating a cartoon and instead there's the farm report. So
Yeah.
back in the day, they were going to transmit farm reports on FM to all the farmers so they knew, what was going on in their area. And that was the idea behind the radio. And then, of course, they could go buy feed and straw or whatever supplies they needed. Oh, by the way, we have these radios that, if you want to listen to the farm report. and a bunch of them sold. So they're pretty much a New York thing, Northeast thing, and they're hard to find. And when you do find working examples, by the way, they go for a small fortune.
I've
Uh,
never seen one.
so it's I wish I had brought a well, if I know I was going to get this deep into this part of the meeting, I would have brought a picture. But you could probably Google it after, when you guys have some time, maybe tomorrow morning with a cup of coffee or whatever.
Hmm.
Just Google GLF radio and you'll see the radio. It's just a big light radio. It's probably, I'm going to guess, probably about 16, 18 inches wide. It's probably about 6 inches high. And in the middle of the whole dial, it's AM, FM in the middle of the dial. Oh, actually, on the one side of the dial, the left side of the dial, there's a 6E5 I-tube on it.
Hmm.
And
That's
supposedly,
really
they're
interesting.
got very good tone on them. It's got a 5-inch speaker on it. The speaker worked fine. It's just the transformer was done.
That's really interesting because because I think you made a point earlier, Bob. I think Agway well certainly had a big presence in New York, if not a New York-based company. I forgot whether they were where the HQ headquarters was in New York, but I know there was where I grew up in New York. There was an Agway, I don't know, within probably 10 miles. I remember
Well,
seeing
we
it.
had Agway here in New Jersey because when I was growing up, we had a farm, but we didn't really do any farming on it. But we did raise some ducks and we did have chickens. So we would
They,
go to the local Agway, but then it wasn't called Agway; it was called the Farmers Co-op. That's
oh,
They either bought out or the precursor was Worthmore Farms prior to that in this area, and then it
okay.
became Agway.
Yeah,
interesting.
they took away the Farmers Co-op name, and then where we were going was Agway as well. So I don't remember what year that was. I think it was sometime. It was when I was a kid, so it was probably sometime in the '60s.
Yeah, actually, I just did while you were talking, Bob. I did just a quick Google. So they were founded in 1964, actually, incorporated in July 25th, 64, and they were headquartered in DeWitt, New York, which is, somewhere in that middle part of New York, so yeah. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I was curious to see, like if they were building a chassis, like I know GE was located in New York, would you, work that with GE or someone in the neighboring, you know, region to go do your chassis? Because it just sort of begs the question just for convenience. But I don't know if it looks familiar to any GE chassis you've ever seen, but very interesting, really interesting, in fact.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up in a small town in southern Connecticut called Monroe, Connecticut, and we had an Agway in our town. It's like
Yeah,
in the 60s and 70s.
they certainly made, they were certainly, as Bob said, they were certainly um, an Eastern, and they obviously had reached beyond just New York.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Off the top of your head, Bob, do you know what the IF is of the FM section?
Yeah, I didn't really pursue that.
Okay. It's almost always 10.7,
I
but
think it's a 10.7.
I've the weirdest radio I ever worked on. It was either a GE or a Zenith, and it was not 10.7. It was it was impossible to find IF transformers for it or anything like that because of the oddball frequency that it used as an IF.
Yeah, I've got one. This is the same code, but I can share one because I found one in Radio Addict, funny enough, just now. So I just so people can see, it's actually a very attractive radio, at least in my opinion, for what it's worth.
Oh, there it is. That's it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
It's a good looking radio. It's got you see the
Almost it
ISO
almost
right
has
there.
a little RCA look to it with the four knobs
Yeah,
at the bottom.
yeah. I think it's nice looking. I mean, there's a Bob. It's the same color, the sort of the dark brown. It looks like dark brown or
Well,
black.
it looks
And
a lot nicer than the two carcasses they're seeing in my shop right now.
ha, well, it looks like that's where your goal is. And this, by the way, sold for $500. So this,
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
this
yeah.
Grange League Federation is what it stands for. Here's
GLF,
There
Grange
we
League
go.
Federation.
Take a look at that. It's good. Wow. Almost looks European. Almost like something German. The good looking. It's a good looking piece, huh?
That was exactly my first impression when I saw the radio. I'm like, oh my goodness, who the heck made this thing? But I still don't know who made it. I mean, they obviously had it contracted to somebody, but even doing a deep dive, I couldn't
Yeah. In fact,
They obviously had it contracted to somebody.
it says right here, very rare radio sold by the Farmers Cooperative Feed Stores that eventually became Agway. Really neat. It's think this is the great thing I love about this club. When you talk about something, whether it's a swap meet, pictures, whatever, we see things we've never seen before. Probably will not talk about again for years to come. But anyway, I thought you guys might like to see it because I actually think it's pretty.
Yeah, that's
It's a
great.
pretty terrific looking radio. Actually, I'd love to have one. I'm not sure I've already spent $500 for one, but I'd like to have one.
I would think with that 6v6 in there and I had a really nice 5-inch speaker. I just took a little dopey radio, transistor radio out on my bench, and I just ran it through that speaker, and it actually sounded pretty good, with AM playing through it. But I'm just hoping I can get the other one going. I don't want to have to try to hunt down a big 6v6 audio transformer because the audio fools will probably try to grab me by the ankles and shake me down.
Yeah, exactly. Upside down.
You know?
Yeah.
Or I could find a parts radio, somebody with a 6v6 op. I actually have not one, not two, but 3 RCA AM FM radios in my basement. 2 of them with the wooden cabinet with the big dial on the front. And I grabbed a bunch of them because the RCA standalone 45 and 78 turntables will plug into that and they sound magnificent. Matter of fact, I took one day last week just to, give myself a little breather. And I probably have about now maybe 250 45s. So I started going through all my 45s and I was playing it through one of them on my bench. And a couple of times my wife came down, save that record. I like that song. It sounded really nice because you hear it through the floor in the basement of my shop, So that was kind of a lot of fun.
No, when you get to the new place, you have to make sure you've got room for a few jukeboxes. That's the way to play those 40
Oh,
copies.
no.
Couple of 300-400 pounders.
I know a guy right now, and I'm not gonna. He's a New Jersey Antique Radio Club member. He's got, I think, 3 or 4 jukeboxes. I'm not sure if any of. I think one of them works. I know one of them works, but his garage is full of boat anchor radios, and I think only half of them work. And I was kind of teasing him a little bit because he also has a classic car and it runs, but it has issues. I said, this is like 3-4 years ago. John, let me help you get everything sorted on this car. You shouldn't be letting this thing sit in the garage. Drive it and enjoy it. No. But he picked up a used Lexus at an auction for, I don't even want to tell you what he paid for it. He stole it. Okay. It was like a 2 or 3 year old Lexus. I think he paid a little over 20 grand for it.
Whoa. Okay.
So he's cleaning out the second bay of his 2-car garage so he can put the Lexus in there. But he's got all boat anchor radios and radio parts and radio this, radio that. But he wants to be able to put that car in the garage for the winter. So that's his summertime project. But it's just funny what people grab. I don't. And I'm going to be 68 next month. I don't want to start buying big, heavy things to lug around.
Yeah, if I get another boat anchor radio, my wife's gonna have me outside walker and all.
I managed to thin down my personal hood to I have just one console radio. At one time I had, I think, 4 of them in the house, but the only console I have now is a 38 12 tube sugar dial console, and that's my cold dead hands radio. It's not. I told my wife, I said, you can put that next to the casket when I'm gone. Not getting rid of it. Just they're fun radios. But I'm not a young man anymore. That's another reason why I got rid of the car. I'm not going to be pulling out engines or dropping transmissions and all the crap I did when I was in my 20s. I'm just
No,
I physically can't do it. I mean, I'd like to do it, but I physically can't do it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Makes sense, Bob. But cool. Well, you'll have to keep us posted how things unfold for you.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know. I'll still be around, even if I move into an apartment out in PA temporarily. While we sell the house, I'll still do the Zooms and
absolutely. We expect to see you there, man.
So and I thank you guys for letting me join you. I have a lot of fun with this.
Oh yeah, no.
You'll be easier for me to visit when I go to Carlisle again next year.
Yeah, that's right. And you're that much closer to the cuts down there, Bob.
Yeah, in the area that we're actually looking at, I'll probably be only about 35 minutes away.
Oh, look at that.
West of Kutztown, instead of being hour and 50 minutes east of Kutztown.
How many extra bedrooms?
What's that?
How many extra bedrooms?
It sounds like Bob's going to be running a hotel with all these NEVIC members
Right.
and other club NJRC. Yeah, there you go, Bob. There you go. You can maybe, you got twice a year, you can really shake everybody down.
Bob, bed, breakfast, and radios.
That's like an awesome combination to me. Especially you slipping bacon and radios. Whoa!
There. Who needs to go to a show if you got bacon?
I'll have to remember that when I start seeing a Subaru with a long whip on, make sure my wife turns off the lights before we unlock it.
Oh man.
You won't leave the lights on for me?
Oh, like Tom Bodette?
Oh, yeah, right. Tom Bodette.
Remember he talked about the uncle who had the ham radio set?
Don't remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of the ads he did for whatever that hotel chain was, that
Leave the
it was
light on
better
for
than
you.
staying with your uncle who's in the basement with the ham radios.
Oh, right. I vaguely remember this now you mention it. But well, cool, Bob. I mean, thanks. Do keep us posted. Keep us posted on what happens to the GLF, your move, all those things we all want to know. And
Yeah, and then one other little stupid thing. I'll do this real quick, and
oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we got plenty of time.
I picked up a radio a while back. Actually, I bought two of them because one of them I had from a friend that his broke, and I couldn't fix it because it had a really weird volume control. It was a Motorola transistor radio. It looked kind of like this. This one actually has the better. They made two runs of these things, and this has the better volume control on it.
Okay.
But Motorola had a few radios that actually had a button on here. When you push it in, it would light up a dial light here.
Oh, yeah.
But this was not one of them.
Really?
What this was now, I don't know if you remember. I think I remember seeing it on a few RCA radios. If they had a battery pack on it, Zenith did it too, I believe. You push this button down, and it would actually put a resistive load on the batteries. And if you see a big drop in volume, then it's time to replace the battery.
Oh, it's a battery check.
This guy had. So I said, no, I'm not having any of that. So I don't know how well that's coming through.
Oh, nice. A little LED light.
I put an LED in this guy.
Nice. That's the way to do it. Well done.
That's what Motorola should have done back in 1962.
I like it. That's a clever idea. A repurpose.
I've done that a few times.
Well done. Like it. That's actually a nice little radio, looks like.
It's actually, I never recapped this radio. Did I have to recap it or nothing? It seems to be pretty good. These are good DXing radios. Right now the conditions on all the ham bands are god awful. I mean, they're terrible. But when the conditions get nice and you start getting that nice bounce, oh man, this thing's a DX machine.
Nice. All right. Well, let's see here. Well, thank you, Bob. Hey, just in case you decide to drop off early, Bill, I'm going to have you check in. What's going on with you? Yeah, take your time.
Okay. I just funny you mentioned that. Other than my wife just walked in. Up there's a little transistor radio I wanted to show the guys. And I don't know if I showed you that I'm immobile, so bear with me. So,
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
it's a little small one. Turn the light on. There we go. Because I'm going to drop off soon.
Right,
I'm on medication, but I just wanted to show you this. Let's see.
Let's see here.
Do I need to go? Do I need to go back?
Yeah, not bad. No, it's not bad. It's just I'm trying to see the name of the.
Can't see the name at the top.
Yeah, it's Kaito, Kaito.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Somebody gave this to me, and I'm not generally impressed. You guys know I like those big boat anchor consoles, right? So, but somebody, I'm on WARA in Attleboro quite often, and one of the listeners sent this to me, and this is the neatest little transistor. This thing has a tuning light on it. It that go, it's like on my big consoles, the tuning eye.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I could pick up New York City with the darn thing.
Really?
So I just wanted to mention that to you guys before I go off.
Oh, okay. No, that's cool. I mean, you know what? Sometimes you find these neat little, cheap
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
that do a remarkable job.
yeah. I'm just turning it on now, and I, I have very little light, but you can take my word for it. It has a tuning eye and little red button as you get to a station, and I just thought it was kind of neat. So,
Hey, you know what?
yeah.
That the size is good. Sometimes you're just walking or whatever. You want to be able to
Most of the components on that radio, guys, it's literally a chip,
hmm.
Yeah.
and it's.
Yeah, see,
I have one or two of them radios downstairs. But when
there's
you
the light.
turn it,
Yeah.
There's the light, and it just
Let's
goes to
see.
show you.
Let's see
Goes
if
to
I
show
can.
you. It goes to.
Oh yeah, there it is. Oh,
It
look at
goes to.
that.
It goes to show you that size does not matter.
There you go. Good point.
All right, that's it.
You know,
And they sell for $15.44.
Is that right? And now that I see Kyle, I don't know if I'm going to bring up a sore subject, but how's the boat engine?
Uh, running fine, except the alternator failed.
Oh,
oh
God.
geez.
But I did get down to New York City, and I've got 350 amp hours of battery, so I can go quite a while without the battery charging. And I came back to the yard that did the work, and I'm not surprised that that alternator had been problematic 2 years ago. So it's been a good trip, couple of hot days. But I saw Lady Liberty. I went down and up the East
Wow.
River, and
Wow.
I've done that, and don't need to do it again.
Well, I'm bad luck because every time I mention it, something goes wrong. So sorry.
Yeah, could you sign off earlier?
Hey, so Carl, where are you anchored right now?
In Stonington, Connecticut.
Ah, so that's where you had the work done. So you're still
Right,
there.
right. And I'll be here for another day or two. Then I'm heading over to Block, then Newport. Then I'll start working my way up the coast.
Nice.
Yep, should be
No.
good.
Yeah, well,
But
definitely
everything else is working fine. So
wow, you got that seafarer look about you right now.
it's just a hassle to shave. So I don't shave on these trips, and then I go to the barber and let him take it out.
Right. Sure. But no, it looks good. It looks like, you're just one step away of getting the patch and, the clip. I gotta get the parrot, and,
There you go.
Just eat plenty of spinach. Kyle.
yeah.
There you go.
Well,
Bye-bye.
of course, it's the always, yo ho ho and a bottle of rum you can sing,
Bye-bye.
Yep.
But that's good. Well, anything else going on, Carl? Since I said it turned over to you, so you're making your voice. Did you see the tall ships? We went in the escort or we have the short ship?
No. I was there the week before on purpose because I understand marina space, or I expected marina space to be at a premium.
Yeah.
In fact, I was talking to someone on the dock today who has a friend with a 50-foot boat that went down and stayed at the marina under the Brooklyn Bridge. 1 week, $60,000.
Sweet, fancy Moses. Wow.
Yes, I mean that doesn't even show up on my budget. However,
Shakedown. That's not even.
Don't anybody look too closely at the financials for the club.
Zero.
So what are you sailing, Carl?
I've got
Eating something?
basically it's a 32-foot
Yeah.
lobster boat that's been
Oh.
converted to a cruising boat.
Nice.
So,
Sure,
yeah.
people who can't hear me here.
Oh, that's no problem. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty funny, Paul. That's pretty awesome. I can't believe it. $60,000. I mean, that's mafia
just for
territory.
That's
docking,
Jeff Bezos money there.
Yeah, yeah.
we're
God.
not all Bob Bennett's.
That's funny.
One diesel or two in there.
Single diesel 315 with a turbo. She cruises at I cruise at about 9 knots, and she burns just under 3 gallons an hour. So I'm happy with it. I'm an old sailor, so I don't need to go fast.
Yeah, me too, but I love the electronics. I bet you got that thing loaded with electronics too.
Well, I do. I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? I've not been able to set up a good ham station in here, in part because I have a solar panel up on the cabin top, a big one, and boy, it puts out so much garbage.
Uh,
So, yeah, I just wait till night.
all right.
That's interesting. What all frequencies, or is it sort of specific on what
All
noise?
frequencies.
Wow.
You start at about 550, and it's quite a diverse set of noises. It isn't like that everyone's, and some may be coming from other boats. I don't know, but that's with the radar and the GPS and everything else shut down. So the only thing that's left is the solar panel, and if I bring the portable radio up near that, that's where it is. So
Maybe it's
but
tracking all the solar flares.
maybe it is.
Now,
Maybe it is, Tom.
now, what you need, Carl, is you need an old PT boat.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could.
and I need Uncle John to help me with the gas for that.
Yeah, I know that'd be a killer because I think I used Packard. I think I used Packard.
Yeah, didn't it use 4 Packards?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
Packard straight eights. I think I used Packard straight eights if memory serves.
When I was a lot younger, I bought a Duck, DUKW, which is an
Yes.
amphibious 2.5-ton truck. Oh, what fun we had.
Oh, yes. Did you see where the one in Boston
Yeah,
rolled over?
yeah. Listed
When
hard
I was a
to.
little kid, the neighbor across the street had a duck in his back field, and he used to let me play with it. And the local fire department had a duck, and in the middle of a boatyard fire in January 20th of '63, somebody forgot to shut a seacock, and she went right down in the off the marine. It wasn't very deep, but the thing that everybody remembered was the rotating beacon kept going all night.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny, man. But
Yeah,
So
well,
did you take the duck in and out of the water?
yeah, well, definitely. Until my wife
Yeah.
got fed up and say, it's either me or the duck.
wow. So there you go.
Boy, I'll bet you miss her.
Well, we've
That's
been married for 65 years, so I had to give in.
Okay.
but you still have like tractors and bulldozers and things like that. So
Yeah.
hope is not all lost.
Yeah, you don't seem to be at loss for toys there, Tom.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
toys are where it's at.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Carl, you have to keep us posted on your voyage, and of course, wish you a safe voyage as you make your
Yeah.
way up the coast.
Yeah,
Thank you.
send us a picture or two of the boat.
Yeah.
That really sounds wonderful.
Yeah, or
Oh,
from the pilot house as you're making your way.
how do I do that on the phone?
So
It's
let's,
pretty difficult because you got
yeah,
to get someone else to take a picture of the boat.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but yeah, no. But cool. Well, thank you, Carl. So
Well,
let's,
thank you, sir.
no, anytime. So let's see here. Well, I was going to call him Per, but he disappeared. Well, Tom, what have you been up to? I know you were at Friedrichshafen.
I was, but I didn't really get a chance to do all of Friedrichshafen photographs for you. I just wanted to share a very sad moment with you as
Okay.
I part with a very dearly beloved friend. So let me share pictures of my friend as I prepare to sell her. I need permission from you to
Oh, I'm
share.
sorry. Oh, right, right. That would be helpful. That wouldn't be. Um, uh, they've changed the user interface. They used to be able to do it very quickly. Now it's okay, my friend. You should be good
Oh,
to
okay.
go.
Okay. This tractor that you're looking at has a long and illustrious history. When I was a
Uh,
professor at Columbia, they used this thing to sweep the streets. They had a rotary broom on it.
sure.
And after 10 years, they figured that it was worthless and they were going to trade it in on another one. And they asked the company how much they'd give them in trade in. And the company said, "We'll give you $300 for it." And I said, "I'll give you 350 for it." And so it came up here to Vermont with me, and it has been with me for a very, very long time as a wonderful old tractor. It's a Massey Ferguson TO35 Deluxe, about maybe 1960 something or other vintage. And the unique thing about this tractor is it has a double clutch. And I don't mean a double clutch the way we do when we're trying to make good time in our hot rod. This
Yep.
thing is an interesting clutch. When you let it halfway out, it starts the power takeoff.
Okay.
And that runs the cutter blade that you see there, or the rotary broom, or whatever it is that you're powering. And when you let the clutch further out, it starts moving the tractor forward or back. And that was a very unique feature in those days. But I just thought I'd show you a few pictures
Oh,
of this guy.
yeah.
It's a lovely old beast, and it's been, as I said, with me on the farm for a very long time. Um, a little closer view of the engine. Very nice, straightforward, little straight four.
Sure.
Totally honest, nothing fancy, nothing electronic, absolutely purely simple. Real spark plugs,
Yeah.
and a battery and a horn, and that's about it. And
Did
I
that,
love
hey,
this thing.
Tom, did that have a magneto or did that have a points distributor?
This has a point distributor. You can
Yeah.
see it
Okay.
Sure.
right there in that little
Oh, okay.
right in the middle there. And it does have power steering, which is a little unusual for a tractor.
Oh, yeah.
And if you look closely, you'll see that there's a bar coming up from the clutch lever. And you can see it a little better here. And that's because I gradually realized that that clutch was putting so much force on my knee that I was ending up in the what was it, orthopedist with knee problems. And he kept saying, "We're going to have to replace your knee." And I said, "I don't want to have my knee replaced." And finally I said, "What's different about my left knee and my right knee that would make my left knee go and my right knee not go?" And I thought, okay, it's that doggone heavy clutch on the tractor. So I put a handbar on that clutch, and I haven't had knee problems since.
Ah.
So,
Very clever.
Yeah.
um,
Hopefully not have shoulder problems now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I am going to replace it with a four-wheel drive because it gets mighty muddy up there. But I have big tire chains on both of the rear wheels, and rear wheels are oversized. I've got them set up on the rims so that they come way out to the side, so it's less likely to roll over sideways. just a very nice, honest old tractor. I hate to see it go, but sometimes you have to do these things. I just wanted to back up to stories about selling things to people. When I sold my airplane back in 2000, the guy who bought it came from Utah, I guess it was. And he flew in from Utah and he arrived at the airport to pick up my airplane and fly it back to Utah. And he said, you know, I don't have a pilot's license, but
Oh,
I brought my instructor with me. And so these two guys are going to fly this airplane sight unseen from Vermont back to Utah. And I said, well, do you have a set of charts for the trip? And the guy said, no, but I got a complete set of road maps.
oh,
Yeah.
You
Wow.
just don't use road maps when you're
no.
flying in questionable weather and on that route. So I ended up talking myself into giving him sort of like what Bob did. I gave him my good GPS so he would at least be able to find his way back. And somehow he made it, but I don't know. And one
What
more
was the plane,
story.
Tom?
I had
Wow.
What
a
was the
bull
plane?
had a bulldozer before the one I have now, and it was old. The guy in Texas saw it on Craigslist, and he drove all the way from Texas up to pick it up with a pickup truck and a flatbed. And we got it up on the flatbed, okay. And he got down to Glens Falls, which is a couple hours south of here.
Yeah,
And
sure.
he made a right turn, and the bulldozer made a left turn.
Ah!
So his truck is going right, and the trailer just flipped over to the left. And apparently, it cost him a lot of money to get a crane to put the thing back up on the trailer.
Oh,
Was he going too fast around a corner or something? Or
I guess he must have been, or he didn't have a flat tire on the process. But so the bottom line is, don't buy something from Tom that has four wheels.
it'll be an adventure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I actually I think Carl asked, what kind of plane was it that you sold?
It was a Piper Cherokee 180, low wing,
Hmm.
Yep,
single
yep.
engine.
Nice little plane.
Yeah. Yeah, I had it for 35 years and
Wow.
good
Wow.
plane. Yeah. It was a quick way to get from Vermont to New York where I had a job.
Easy commute. And you have to don't have to worry about, traffic or anything.
Yeah, well, traffic is a problem. In those days, they didn't have any real good traffic avoidance systems, and you had to watch out. And sometimes there were other planes you didn't see, and it was really a dumb thing to do.
Where did you fly? Where in New York did you fly your plane into, Tom?
Actually, Bob, I had a lot of different places. I kept it mostly at Caldwell in New Jersey. I was
Okay.
also at Westchester, at Bridgeport, at White Plains, depending on the year. You know, in 35 years, I was moving around from job to job. And
Yeah. Did you ever fly in and out of the old Floyd Bennett Field?
sure, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, Jersey was a lot of aircraft, a lot of traffic over Jersey.
Now my father he had a plane, he had a tail dragger. I think it was a Cessna.
Yeah,
I just remember like every 4 or 5 years he'd have to take all the fabric off the thing and refabric it
yeah.
and do all that nonsense to it. So I remember helping him do the fiberglass work and stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah, the annual was always very scary. It could be anywhere from $500 to $5,000, depending on what the mechanic found wrong.
My father, when he drove his car, I'd ride in his car with him, and he was just the most conservative, slow driver I've ever seen in my life. And but you got in that airplane with him, he was an animal. I mean, he would do stalls, he would do rolls, he'd do all kind. And this was it wasn't a biplane; it was a single wing, and had that little donut-sized wheel all the way in the
Yeah.
back of the plane. He flew that thing like a man. So after about 3 or 4 rides with him, I never went up with him ever again because I don't even want to tell some of the stories.
Yeah, we got anybody that flies for a while has lots of stories.
So Tom, did you come home with anything from Friedrichshafen or
Yes, I came home with an enigma, happily.
ah, found them. Now, is this one did you find, in buried treasure or did you buy from a vendor?
I found it as a buried treasure from a vendor. I mean, he had it hidden in, in the back of his car, showing it to only his best friends. You know how it is.
Wow.
Boy, TSA must be fascinated by those.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's just an old broken German typewriter, nothing special.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they look at it. Oh, you look at your passport. Oh, Dr. Pereira again. All right. What else is he bringing back?
Yeah,
He's well known. That's cool. Well, is it in good shape or
yeah, good shape.
awesome? Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
But
But I have lots and lots of good pictures of Friedrichshafen when I get to them.
oh, sure, sure. We'll definitely take you up on it when you're up for it, maybe next meeting or so.
Yeah. The jet lag was really bad. At 87, it hurts, and I can just imagine what Per must have put up with on his trips.
Well, speaking of which, there he is. Where in the world is Per Christensen?
Right here at home for a change.
So what's going on, Per?
Well, today I finally managed to install the uh, sender unit for the gas gauge into the new gas tank that I bought for my 49 Hudson. And
Oh,
and I really wanted to make sure that I would install it so that it doesn't leak gas. Because the reason I took the old gas tank out was because it wasn't totally no good, but because there'd be enough fumes coming out of the porous top side of it that I couldn't open my wing windows wide or it would suck air right from the back of the car. So I accomplished that today. And also, I have a neighbor who has a 37 LaSalle
hmm.
that's been sitting since last year. And um, he's about 7 years older than me, maybe more than that. And he didn't get around to putting his trickle charger on it for the winter. So I brought my charger where I could observe the needle to see what would happen when I connected it to the battery. And at first, when I connected it, the needle didn't do anything. And then very gradually, it started coming up somewhat. And only by the time we finished talking about other things for about a half an hour did it get up to where it should have gone right away if the battery hadn't been so seriously discharged. But the battery was apparently right down to being just plain water almost. So that's why it didn't move the needle. There wasn't much current going in right away. But so now tomorrow I go over there um, and see if the battery is able to start the car or not, and
Hmm.
just in general to check things out. And this car had its engine rebuilt several years ago, and this guy had no judgment about what to do with a car that just had an engine supposedly freshly rebuilt. He immediately got on the interstate highway
Oh,
and loosened a connecting rod.
Ooh.
So back it went to the shop and it sat there, and they were hoping that he would croak, but he never did. And finally, they got the thing together again. And will be very anxious to see. It is a pressure type oil system, unlike my old Hudsons are splash fed, so the pressure doesn't make any difference. And most of them just had lights instead of meters, even way back in the 30s for the Hudson. But I'll be very anxious to see what happens when the uh, when we get it started. The gauge will go right up to what it should be, but I want to see what happens once the engine warms up. How far down does the gauge go at idling after the engine is really warmed up? And so I'll be anxious to discover how did they manage to, get the engine back into the car, into his hands after them having it over there for about 3 years after he made that absolutely dumb mistake.
Yeah.
I think it's
So,
pretty important what kind of oil he uses too. I in this old tractor, I tried putting the modern stuff in, and the oil pressure is very, very low. You want to use something like straight 30.
well, the 15W40 is a nice oil to use. It's
Okay.
meant for diesel engines,
Uh,
and it doesn't have some of the additives that might cause a problem that some people feel causes a problem. So that's what I'm using in my all my old cars.
Did
And
you?
I'll have to check because to see if he knows at all what kind of oil is in his car. But no matter what it is, we can at least get a pretty good diagnostic idea of the condition of the engine. But I want to make darn sure that he doesn't take that one out onto Route 90, I-90 and destroy it again.
And that's the LaSalle when you're talking about.
LaSalle,
Yeah, yeah.
37 LaSalle. And for
Why
three
you?
years, LaSalle did not use the usual Cadillac V8 engine. It used a straight eight engine that was shared with Oldsmobile for just those 3 years.
Oh,
So it's not something that you easily find parts for.
ugh, ugh. And it's like, well,
I'm
why are you taking that on the Mass Pike for? It just seems, it seemed like a little bit of a strange way to.
well, I'm going to tell him that Storrow Drive is as fast as this car should be allowed to drive. Give him a benchmark figure.
Yeah, but then like an older car like that with the, straight eight, yeah, you're probably looking at like maybe 50, 55 and leave it at that.
Well, even less is good. I mean,
Yeah,
my 40, my 35 Hudson, which has a straight eight engine, with about the same stroke as his car, I drive at 48 miles an hour.
yeah, that's probably makes sense. Yeah. But and you have a 48,
I
huh?
mean,
So
there were years ago I did drive it faster, and luckily I didn't damage the bearings, but I certainly wore out the piston. So my car, we did a motor job on the car uh, about 6,000 miles and 25 years ago. Uh,
yeah,
and
sure.
then generally the break-in advice is not to stay at a particular RPM for very long.
Right.
Vary the RPMs.
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did the ring job on that car at my old friend's place in Quebec City, and it took 5 years to do the job because I would do a little bit each time I came to visit. And finally, when the car was ready, I had somebody convoying me, and we took local roads so that we could adjust the speed that we went. So,
Hmm.
uh,
Well. Well, that's all good stuff. Still fun. You know what? I have to admit, I admire your pair. You still keep your hands dirty. Your hands are in the engines all the time in your cars.
well, yeah, it's what I enjoy really doing.
Yeah, that's
But I'll
awesome.
be doing something interesting this Sunday, and that is I'll be going to Oakland, California, because the Filipino school group that where the band part of it is directed by my daughter, and three of her four grandchildren, or four of her children, are playing in the presentation. I'm going there to show solidarity and support for them.
Nice.
So I'm going on Friday and coming back on Monday. So
Good for you.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Well, definitely have a safe trip. And well, I guess we won't have a Zoom meeting for you to be able to attend remotely then.
I'll be back here in time for the next one if you're having one next week.
Yeah. No, actually, there will not be one next week. We'll have to because but because I've got a commitment.
Yeah,
But
what is the date of the next meeting,
so
actually?
I guess be 2 weeks from now. When then the off topic might be weekend after the week after that. So being the 8th, I would think the 22nd would be the
Uh,
next
uh,
meeting. Um,
okay. Well,
so
on the 21st, I go into a nutrition program in downtown Boston,
ah.
where I'll be trapped in there for 2 weeks, eating exactly the food they provide me with.
The
Yeah,
culinary experimentation begins.
exactly. So this is, I don't remember if I talked about the first time I did this, but this is the second time of a total of 3 times that I will do it. And each of the 3 times, one uses a different diet. And I think I got the healthiest diet the first time, but I was warned that one of the other diets will be the typical American diet.
Okay, here comes the Big Macs. Fries, shakes, egg
Yeah, hot
McMuffins.
dogs, God knows what.
Kentucky
So,
Fried Chicken.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Well, you know what? If you make it through, fair, you're gonna be like you have ironclad stomach.
Fair, the bad news is that's the diet. The good news is you eat it on Air Force One. Yeah.
That's funny. That's
Hey,
awesome.
Per, not
all
to get
right.
personal, is this a study you're engaged with for the advancement of knowledge or for personal
Yeah.
use?
Well,
Interesting.
I belong to a nationals thing called All of Us, which is on the way towards recruiting 1 million participants. And this particular study was commissioned by All of Us at about 7 different cities in the United States. And in Boston, they commissioned something called the Gene Mayer building for studying elder people.
Okay.
And so they have the rooms to house a bunch of people and the cafeteria to feed them what they need to eat and all of that. So they got co-opted into this. However, I've been going to studies at that building, not related to All of Us, for 15 years. And
Okay.
so I'm always happy to get back in there. And there are a couple of longtime employees from before COVID, you know, who immediately recognize me when I show up. So, so it's a really enjoyable thing for me to do.
Well, the way you act, I don't think you can participate in an elderly study.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
I have to walk a little slower than normal, right, to get in.
It's all right. When you tell them all that you're up to, I think you'll be impressed. What you do belies your age there. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now they don't conduct electroshock therapy on you, do they? Anything like that? Don't, you
No,
can't eat that. Ah!
but
Only if his battery needs charging.
Some,
one
you
of the
know,
other studies from about 10 years ago, they were testing my muscles. And that was really pretty tough because they kept increasing the pressure that I had to try to move my leg against and all of that stuff. So I didn't break anything, but anyway, um, I'm happy to do the eating thing instead now.
Yeah, that's a little easier. Just lifting a fork.
Yeah.
just watch out for those LSD trials, things like
Yeah, right, right.
Well, yeah, exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
Pair then, we're hoping that you will join the next meeting then, because you have to give us a report on exactly what they're subjecting you to. Yes.
Yes. I mean, I'll be ready to join the meeting, right in there, for sure.
That's right. And we get to see what is pair eating. But that's awesome. You know what? I tip my hat to you for being a good subject.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yep.
Yeah, for the advancement of science,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
important.
I really like contributing to these studies because it all provides information that, in general, if enough people do it, then it provides something that can be
Hmm,
useful. Now, in
absolutely.
this particular case, interestingly, they're actually not only going to give me a nice room to live in downtown Boston, which would cost me a fortune if I had to rent it,
Yeah.
but I will end up with a total of $6,300 at the end of the whole thing.
Wow.
So
Where do I sign up?
Yeah.
I would have done it without getting paid, but the money is there. So
Nice.
That will help fix your Hudsons.
that's right. Or
Exactly.
at least pay the garage rent for a year for all the garage spaces I rent to
Yeah.
house them, since I have no garage by myself. Uh,
Well, don't decide it's worth it till you see what that other meal is.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I might walk out and be left with
Right.
only the
You can't
1,500 they've
pay me
already paid me.
6,300 to eat this.
Right. Exactly.
You can buy a lot of Alka-Seltzer and Pepto-Bismol at
Yeah.
$6,000.
Right.
Hey, John, I sent you a picture taken in New York.
Okay.
I sent you two, one by mistake, and then the
Okay.
second email will be the
Oh
right
yeah.
one.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
Let's see if I got it. Oh yeah. Okay. Hey, let me share with everybody. Let me just bear with me a moment. Let me go back to the Zoom meeting. I
Kind of
do
cool.
have.
Little old lobster boat with Manhattan
Yeah,
skyline.
I like it. It is a very much classic looking lobster
Oh,
boat.
nice.
There it
Mm.
is.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a good looking, very classic, pilot house design.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I like
There
it.
were 66 of those hulls made, and 10 of them were converted into this style. The rest were built as a working lobster boat.
Wow, that's
Mm.
cool.
Very nice.
The Nord
Thank you.
Star. Right.
Nord Star. Yep.
Exactly. Cool.
Wow,
I like the
nice.
background light and all that. Now, what city are we looking at behind us?
That's New York City.
That's what I thought because I'm looking at this. It's funny. It's an angle that I said I think it's New York,
Yeah.
but
That's
cool.
Lower Manhattan.
That's a nice picture. I really like it. That's all right. I may save that off. Thank you, Carl.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
You bet. All right. So now let's see here. So let's see here. Greg,
Yeah.
what have you been up to? You,
Oh,
you must have had some restorations going on in your neck of the woods.
yeah. But a few little plastic table models I can show off, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Inquiring minds need to know.
Wearing my.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Isaiah, what we'll do is I'll make sure. Sorry, I will call on you after Greg.
Oh, that
And
won't take long.
we can do a visual if you can if you want to either share with me over email or if you want to just if you can share your screen, we can do that. And whatever you want to do, Isaiah, just let me know. Sorry, go ahead, Greg.
Okay. That's showing up.
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
that's a pretty radio.
That's just a little Sentinel. Yeah. It
That
was
is.
painted white originally, and the white paint was all flicking off of it, so it needed a paint job anyway. So
Wow, that's in really nice condition. And you did a really nice paint job. It looks factory fresh.
that's not too bad.
Came out very
Do you have a
nice.
spray booth or do you use just cans?
Just rattle cans, and I've got a little booth I made up that's
Yeah,
just a bunch of pieces of cardboard wrapped around, so it's not
right.
overspraying everything. But
Right. Wow, it looks great.
Boy, you did a nice job.
Yeah, if you said to me this was, how it came out of the factory, I would have not batted an eyelash.
yeah, that's I got a couple others here I can show you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that's me. Unshare. What is it here? Oh, there you go. Oh, this is the original one here. There's just nothing all that fancy. It's a little silver tone.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Do those have dial lights, Greg?
No, no dial light.
Yeah, I thought not. I thought it was one of the more base models. Yeah. Still, nice looking radio. Just sort of,
But one thing that you might find interesting, the knob on the right is the original, and the knob on the left, there's a gentleman that's reproducing a bunch of different parts for radios, little parts with a 3D printer. The one on the left is a 3D printed knob.
really, wow, looks pretty close to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because it's an oddball knob, it's got a stem on the back. It has to reach into the cabinet because the chassis loads from the bottom, so the shafts are kind of short. So the
Okay.
knob has to go through the hole in the cabinet.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Ah, nice little radio. Now, this is before or after photo.
Well, this is after. This is the original finish on it. It's just a
Wow.
brown Bakelite. There were no cracks on it, so it cleaned
Yeah.
up pretty decent.
Yeah, that's nice radio.
Okay, next up. I might have shown this one. I don't remember.
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Mm.
That's very
Where-
nice.
Yeah. They made a bunch of different variations of that same cabinet. Some of them had the ribs built right into the mold of the cabinet, but this one has a separate insert for the grill work, and there's actually a little gold anodized band above the dial scale,
Yeah, I like that. It's very
Gold-
attractive.
gold behind the knob, so it looks pretty classy. Little 5.2.
Yeah, I'd say so. I like it with the white dial face and the black surround and the gold. Yeah, that's really quite sharp.
Another one with no dial light, but I guess the panel's bright enough that you can see the numbers.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah. No, that's a good looking radio. I like it.
All right, one more.
Oh, there we go.
They,
Oh.
this is a little traveler. I think it's a model 5002. They made a bunch of these over the years, I think
Right.
throughout the 40s, but they lend themselves to a two-tone paint job fairly well.
Oh gosh, this is your choice of colors?
Yeah, it's coral and white.
Yeah. No, it's classic 50s. This is it works very nicely with it.
Yeah, I like your choice of colors.
Again, this was one that was there were no cracks in it, but it was just a plain dark Bakelite cabinet. It just didn't do anything for the radio itself. Some of these you need to dress up a little bit.
Yeah, no, yeah, well, you chose period correct colors too, which is what I like.
Yeah.
50 years from now, some poor collector is going to be looking through old magazines trying to find
Trying to
a
find
color
that
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
One more yet here. A different view of it. Right here. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we go. That's really
Yeah.
good looking. Yeah, I like it.
The other one is with the dial light lit up. I had the light out.
Yeah. Oh, like what a very attractive little radio. Even nice dial face and all. Very
I'm going to
attractive.
say they're only about 6-7 inches long, wide, so it's not a terribly big radio. It's just a 5-tuber, but
Hmm.
play nice.
Yeah,
So
nice traveling.
that's what's been keeping me busy since the last round robin.
So these all already up on Radio Attic on
Yeah,
on the way
they're,
home?
they're all available. Most of them are. I think a couple of them sold already. The white GE, I just got an email from the guy that I sold it to. He's all happy with it.
Nice. All right. Well, 'cause that's cool, Greg. In fact, actually, in the next meeting, we have the chance. Maybe what we'll do is finish off the photos from the Wisconsin Antique Radio
Oh.
Club. If we can,
Yeah,
because
there
we
was
sold
one.
enough. Maybe, and if we have time, we'll maybe Tom could show us some pictures from Friedrichshafen to fill the time if we have time. But cool, yeah, good stuff. I always love seeing what you've done. Great restorations. Let's see here. Oh, well, Isaiah posted so he posted some stuff in the chat. So let me sort of see if I can he said, here we go. So I'm gonna try and see if I can do this. What I can. There we go. Can you guys see this? Okay. No, you probably can't.
No.
No, let me try sharing. That would help, John. Uh, Let me just share a moment. I will share what Isaiah has come to. He's got a few things here. This got this.
Oh, takes me back.
Takes me back.
Hewlett Packard. Let's see if I have to go find the share window here. I mean
3325B maybe or something like that. Let me see.
it's a 3325A.
Oh, an A. Okay. Ooh, first model. Yeah.
What is it?
It's a synthesizer.
Ah, okay.
Function generator.
Yeah, this is back in the day when, I started with Hewlett Packard in 1979. So we went through a period of time where there were two different divisions of HP, both in California. One was in Stanford Park and one was in Santa Rosa. And there was some friendly internal competition between divisions and whatnot at HP over the years. That's kind of how they got a lot of their innovations. And one of the divisions would make something called a sweeping synthesizer, while a different division made a synthesized sweeper. And so they had different feature sets on them, and the sweeping synthesizer had different technology inside of it as opposed to the synthesized sweeper. The synthesized sweeper would basically have a start frequency that was synthesized and then a ramp to sweep from there very linearly, but only the first frequency was actually synthesized, and then it swept in a more analog fashion, albeit with a very precise and linear ramp, whereas the sweeping synthesizer would actually do more of a stepped approach from the start to the stop frequency and would step along the way, and each stop in the sweep would be a synthesized point. So depending on what your application was, sometimes like say a scalar network analyzer would want to use a synthesized sweeper, whereas maybe a network analyzer, if you're doing crystal filters or whatnot, you would want a sweeping synthesizer to get more accuracy all the way across the band at individual points. So it was just weird. Takes me back to all those kind of arguments with the different factories. It was like, why do we need a synthesized sweeper and a sweeping synthesizer? So you're confusing the customers. And it's like,
but we're fortunate to have a factory insider here that can provide us background here.
Yeah.
You don't have any contacts anymore that can do something about the price of Hewlett Packard ink cartridges, can you?
No, that's a different HP. This was the original HP, the test equipment. That's what I worked for, and then that was the HP that first we had to change our name to Agilent because HP had to keep, the consumer type oriented stuff, all the printers and computers and all that stuff being a more of a commoditized marketplace. They had to keep the HP name in order to have brand recognition, whereas all the engineers at MIT or Raytheon or Bell Labs or wherever, they really didn't, they could care less if the HP tag stayed on the instrument as long as the same factories and R&D people were still turning out the same quality test equipment. So we went from HP to Agilent to Keysight over the years, but it was all basically still the same test equipment.
Are they still around?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's see.
As we used to joke, it's like, oh no, they're still around. They're at the foreskin of technology.
Well, I work for the enterprise version of HP, the spinoff.
Yeah. Well, see, no, we got spun off. the test equipment got spun off. Well, it was like having a diversified portfolio because there was an HP division for test equipment, an HP division for analytical equipment like gas chromatographs and whatnot, and an HP division for components, individual, ICs and LEDs and whatnot. And then there was an HP medical division that wound up being sold off to Philips. And I can't remember and then the computer, division that actually kept the name, and all those other parts of HP all got spun off along through the years. So, notice if you look at this box here and you see the sort of rounded handles on the rack mount kit.
Yeah.
And if you contrast that with the previous picture, which I don't think had its rack ears on it, but they would have been rectangular. So this instrument here is what's called you can't really tell, but it's more squared off as opposed to rounded. The rounded ones are the System 1 cabinet, and the squared ones are System 2 cabinets for how they mounted in 19-inch rack mount kits. But that's classic stuff. I mean, those are the ones that I sold as, in my rookie days of HP back in the late 70s and early 80s.
Door to door, what can I do to get you into this
baby today? What can I do to get you into this $250,000 network analyzer?
But will it vacuum my floors?
Yeah.
I had a Tektronix.
Boo, the enemy.
Oh, look at that. And so looks like we caused a little skirmish here.
Look at that, a floppy drive next to the
Isaiah is saying in your face.
That's right.
But no, this is cool. Wow, very nice Tektronix, which is
I have right in front of me here. It's a little cumbersome to take down, but I have two pictures from my HP days. There's a picture of the garage where Bill and Dave started HP. There's a big poster, framed poster they gave me at my retirement, and then another picture of basically my rookie year with a bunch of the old timers who I don't think any of them are actually still with us, but I'm in the picture with them because I was kind of an old soul, so to speak. I was kind of a young fogey. I aligned better with the old timers of the company than with the young whippersnappers that were coming in along my time.
Isaiah looks like he does have the probes for this Tektronix, but I've got to believe that, those you can find those probes around lying around.
Well, this is pretty modern with a floppy drive in it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I guess, but maybe expensive is what the fear is.
Well, because they were consumable, so they always got lost or broken or whatever. It's like scope lasted forever, but you had to keep replacing the probes because people were always losing them or breaking them or stealing them.
So I guess just judging, what Isaiah is saying in the chat windows that this is a 1 gigahertz bandwidth. So it means you need the appropriate probes for it. So that'll be the hard thing. Well, hopefully you'll find it because you probably got it at a really good price. Now you just have to find the probes sold separately. But cool. You got some good stuff there. I think it's funny. I saw the other devices. I said, "Oh gosh, well, I definitely see a car trunk here." And so, as I can see, you can see the Toyota. It's been sitting there on display. But yes, it certainly looks the part. But well, cool. You got some good stuff there, Isaiah. I'll stop share here. Good finds. So let's see here. So hey, Joe from Michigan. I don't know if you're on or not, but I should call out to you and see what you've been up to. So how's life in the great state of Michigan?
It's still hot. I got out of work at 6 o'clock. I think it's 93 degrees and muggy.
Yeah.
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 Last week we were 100. What was it? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then let's see. I think we were mid 90s on Friday, and then a storm came through. It was really weird. It blew for about 10 minutes. It poured for about 5 minutes. Power flickered on and off. Hour later, power went out.
Huh.
For let's see, I hopped on a plane, flew to Maine the next morning. So I don't know. Came back sometime Saturday, and I work with people that still don't have power.
Oh, geez.
And you figure what's today, Wednesday, and that was Friday. So yeah, talking 5-6 days already.
Really? What's going on?
I think it's just a grid over here in Detroit. It's 100 years old, so
Wow.
get it back
Infrastructure.
over. Yeah, so who knows? Hopefully they'll all get it back.
Yeah, at least you have it.
Yeah. So here's my latest acquisition.
All right, let's see here.
Is it a battery set?
No, I was skimming around on a marketplace Friday. How do you spin the camera? There it is. And I see this box on there, and it's got all these tubes in it. And I'm like, that's just a cool looking box with tubes. They come with these ceramic tube things. Then what got me is I'm flipping through the, okay, I got a funny feeling about this. Here's something I've never seen. A tongue saw made for Western Electric. And I got 4 of these that are new.
Wow.
What's the number on the box, Joe?
The end one, the VT115.
VT115A? I'm not sure what that is.
6L6.
Is that what it
is
is?
what I took one out and it came back, or it was a tongue saw 6L6 Coke bottle. So it was unique.
Yeah.
It's something that you don't see every day.
No.
Yeah, I just had a funny feeling, and it's like, well, you know what? I'm home, and this is only like 20 minutes up the road. I'll just go pick this up and see what's here. Yeah, all sorts of weird stuff in here. Like I got a.
Oh man, those are nice tubes.
Yeah, here's a
brass base, the early short pin.
Ooh, that is
Treat that with love.
Oh yeah, and I've got a ceramic base somewhere in here, which is probably my first ceramic base I've ever had. I can remember where it's at. Yes, all sorts of stuff. I was talking with the guy, and his dad's like, yeah, my dad's like 100 years old before he passed and all that stuff, and he would take radios out of tanks and put them in his plane.
His plane.
He's got all these frequency things. He's got
crystals.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got a ton of crystals in here. A bunch of these that look like they've never been used.
Caps.
Yep.
Yeah, it is just a whole bunch of trying to find the ceramic base.
Wow, it's a pretty
We
cool.
lost the power, and I'm flipping through this box on Friday night, and it's like, okay, kids, you gotta go to bed. I just tossed everything back in.
What a nice box full of toys.
Boy,
Oh yeah, I couldn't turn it down for the $20 the guy was asking.
$20.
$20. Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't get there fast enough. Yeah, then I got the ceramic base, which it's about as good as
Is that in the forest?
I don't know. It's about as good as I can see.
I think it's the forest.
Wow,
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so too.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You stole
one of those ceramic foil forms off to the right.
Well, you can start planning your vacation now when you sell them tubes.
Okay, I'll buy a plane ticket. Yeah. So this is the DeForest?
It looks like a DeForest early Audion tube.
Okay. Any idea what the number is on it?
You can see something very barely readable from our end.
Yeah, this is a clear type anyway.
There weren't too many numbers back in that.
Yeah.
Boys day.
That could be anything. That could be a 112. That could be a 1A. It could be a WD11 kind of thing. Whatever the forest cross-reference number is.
Okay. Yeah, so that's my first ceramic base I ever had.
What a piece of interesting history.
Yeah, and then the box.
Look at the short pins.
Yeah.
What's that?
The short pins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was worth it.
Yeah,
definitely.
The
probably the deal
understatement
of
of
the
the
month. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
You paid $20 for that?
I did. I couldn't get there fast enough.
Boy, I guess not. Good for you.
Wow. Yeah, you
Oh, yeah.
did well there, Joe. You did well.
Great find.
If you
Oh yeah.
if you find your way out here for our next show, you should bring them with you and get for a little show and tell at the
Yeah.
at
When is the
Brookline.
next one?
September 26th, if memory serves.
I gotta see if that lines up for the weekend. I don't have my kids.
Yeah, I gotta come out.
Yeah, 'cause I think Michigan swap meet is the following weekend. It's usually the first weekend, first Saturday of October. If history passed the last 3 years, they're liable to flip it on. I mean, make it the last weekend of September, so I can't go.
Wow,
So,
well,
yeah.
cool. That's a good show and tell. You got good stuff.
Oh yeah, and I picked up the week earlier. No, last weekend. Now I picked up a random box of tubes off a guy on Marketplace. He's like, I got a bunch of other ones. So got into this guy's garage. And I'm looking at this, and we struck a deal. I have yet to go through that. I don't even know what's in there. Just in my 30 seconds looking, there are 45, 6 SN7, 6V6. I'm like, okay, there's bound to be some gold hiding in here somewhere.
There are gold in them are hills.
There is.
Wow. Well, congratulations. Bravo. I
All
mean,
right.
even if you didn't have those steel tubes, you still get a good deal.
Oh yeah,
Ceramic went along.
Oh yeah, that thing's just too wild. It's like I don't even know what I'm gonna do with it. It's like
Yeah.
I got to tack down a base and set it next to the.
You get a little cabinet, display cabinet.
That's what I'll end up doing with a lot of these things.
Put a
Yeah.
wooden base and drill some holes in it for a pin.
Yeah. Good
I
point.
could do. Yeah, because I've got a dead VT211 over there. It's got a spring that bounces around. It's got a base hits. Something comes out every now and then. I bring out to work, put on the desk for a month or so, and then I take it home. Then I got a Western Electric. I don't even know what the Western Electric is. And nothing fancy. Someday I'll get me a dead 300.
Can I
But
just
it's
show
probably all.
something real quick here? Because I'm
Yeah. Go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah.
by that white base. I want to show this to Joe. This is a pair of the Forest Audion tubes.
Let me spotlight this. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
So I don't know if the fonts or anything kind of chased that around. I know that the shape of it's a little bit different. I actually
Yeah.
got this as a Christmas gift, and they're actually O1As, and they have good filaments.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So, and then someone made this really nice base for it.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Beautiful.
That's really nice.
So I don't know.
wow.
I was just gonna say maybe if the fonts on your tubes are kind of close to this, it's
Yeah, this is circular. It's a circle with text
Yeah,
in
it is like a circle with a pat. You said the word pat for patents.
manufacturer maybe.
Yeah. I'll
So
take
I
pictures
don't know
of
if
it, zoom in.
RCA made stuff like this though. I mean, I think their stuff was mostly brass.
When did Cunningham start?
It's
I
so
don't know
hard.
the exact year.
You have to get like a really close like magnifying glass to see if you could read any of the script on there. I can see like patent or PAT.
Yeah, I see that. That's kind of coming out.
I look at the script at the top, at the upper part of the circle that see what's
Okay. I see the DeForest at the top. I see the FOR.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
Some good Windex will clean that up. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I
Oh
made the
man.
mistake once on a 12AX7 thinking it would clean up just with a little bit of water. It's like, no, I don't clean tubes.
Nope.
After that.
That's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great find.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's just a matter of just digging up and a little research and being able to isolate what it is, to the detail. But that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
But well, cool. Well, thank you, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
But so Noah,
Oh.
what's the good word in Texas?
Well, luckily we're starting to lose the humidity, so that's good. I've forgotten what humidity was like. It's been kicking my butt down here. It's been so nice and dry the last 3 summers, but I can't even remember the last time I even turned on an old radio. I've been doing a lot of other more mechanical things out in the garage and playing with old cars and things like that. So I don't have an awful lot to report along the lines of electronics and electronica and things like that. I'm just kind of here as a observer and soaking it all up while you guys with your projects going on. I'm doing mundane things like putting struts on a Ford Flex, and the biggest project I have that's been a humongous pain in the ass is what I thought was going to be a simple upgrade in my 1970 Chrysler 300 of removing the old antiquated design RV2 air conditioning compressor that looks more like a Harley Davidson engine than a modern air compressor.
That's why you need a 440 to power the thing.
And they weren't really, they haven't made any new ones of those in probably 30 years. So the only thing you can get when you need one is some remanufactured, rebuilt piece of crap that doesn't last and doesn't really perform the way it needs to cope with Texas heat. So I'll try to keep it short because I could do a whole evening on all the bullshit I've gone through with this project. But it started out with finding the right kit, the right bracket kit that could put a Sandon in place of the RV2 on the motor of the Chrysler. And there were 2 or 3 choices that I had, but one in particular said, their kit was so good that when you use their brackets in place of the Chrysler brackets and you put the Sandon on, it's like so exactly in the right place. You can just reuse your old fan belts, your belts that go around the alternator and the crank and the compressor in order to make it work. And it's like, well, that sounds good to me because those belts are the innermost belts. There's a power steering belt ahead of that, and then there's another belt for the water pump and the fan ahead of that. So if I don't have to change the belts, if I just have to slip them off, take off the old compressor, take off the old brackets, put on the new bracket, put on the new compressor, and put the belts back on. Woohoo! Mm-hmm. So that's what I attempted to do, and guess what? They're lying sacks of you know what. So at the end of that little escapade, it was like the 59-inch belts that were on the car originally had to become 60 and 1/2 inch belts in order to put and I don't know if any of you have gone to an auto parts store lately with the pimple-faced kid in front of a computer screen. You can't walk in and say, I want a 60 and 1/2 inch, fan belt and 2 of them because there's a pair of them. And they're like, the first thing out of their mouth is always year, make, and model. And it's like, there is no year, make, and model. It's like the year, make, and model that comes up for this car would be 59 inches, which won't work because it's not original anymore. It's got a different compressor. I need a 60 and 1/2. They don't know how to look at that up. It's like, I had to figure out looking at part numbers of various belts to come up with the secret code of a belt that says 15600 is a 60-inch belt. Like the 15 means one thing, and then the 60 means another, means how many inches the belt is. But needless to say, it was trial and error. So I had to buy a 60-inch belt and a 61-inch belt to find out that the 60 was too short and the 61 was too long. I mean, it worked. But if it stretched a little and wore a little, I was going to be out of adjustment range on the alternator. What I needed was a 60 and 1/2. And so I'm sitting there thinking, all right, let's pretend to be an engineer here again. If a 15600 is 60 inches and a 15610 is a 61 inch.
605.
If I was running the show, how do you do a half? I'd say 15605, like 60.5. It's like, right. And so, the kid goes into the back and sure enough, they've got them, they got them. So I eventually got there on that.
Yay.
So, but also the fittings are totally unique and different between the 2 compressors. So I had to engineer and build 2 new hoses that would go from the car to the Sandon compressor as opposed to from the car to the RV2 Chrysler compressor. So that was an exercise. And the latest debacle is that now that I figured out and bought the crimping kit and got the hose and did all that stuff, you have to take the original hoses like off so before you can put the new hoses back on. And wouldn't you know, the very last fitting that I got to is the fitting on the condenser, the very fragile welded aluminum tubed condenser that has the fitting from the old hose on it that is absolutely positively become one and will not come apart. And I've been like wrestling with that and having to take more of the front end of the car apart because I couldn't do it on the car, even though it was the most accessible one. It was like, I'm gonna twist this thing and it's gonna ruin this condenser. And so I took apart more of the car, like all the latches that keep the hood down and all that stuff to get the condenser. I had to remove the condenser from the car, which I wasn't planning on doing. And I took it to like two different places. I took it to like to an AC place and to a regular mechanics shop, saying, can you get this off of here? Because like I cut the hose, I cut the rubber part of the hose because I can't use that hose. I gotta get that fitting off though before I can put my new hose on. And one place looked at it and they tried and they grunted and they groaned, but they were just as afraid as I was to wreck the thing trying to get it off. And the other place I took it to take a look at it and said, I'm not touching that. I'm not going to wreck that. Your hose, you just need to go buy a new condenser. And it's like, so, it's like, it all looks so easy on paper. This was going to be like a one afternoon kind of job, off goes the old compressor, on goes the new with the new bracket, all in the right place, using the old belts. And then here's my two hoses. I'm just going to take the two old ones off and put the two new ones on and suck a vacuum down on it and then recharge it up with some R134 and I'm going to be golden. And, that was about like a week and a half ago or so, or 2 weeks ago when this whole debacle started. So I've been, and then along the way, it was, other stuff has to break, the sprinkler system, that in Texas, you have to have not just if you want sprinklers for the lawn, that's one thing, but you also have to have you have to water your foundation. You have to water the perimeter of your house because when it gets really, really hot and really, really dry, the ground can actually dry and shrink and pull away from your foundation, which causes a lack of support, which like things can shift and set. You can wind up with cracks and weird things like that in your house if you don't keep it watered. So
yeah, I've heard of that once before. I forgot from a friend who lives in Texas. I forgot all about that. You said I've got to water my foundation. Like, water your foundation.
Yeah.
This must be unique to the soil and the land.
It's I can't even pronounce it, but there's some weird something called chisi, I don't know what it is. There's some kind of soil that's here that's like if it doesn't, it really expands when it gets wet, but it really contracts when it gets dry and can wreak havoc. So my sprinkler system, the people who lived here before us were really into plants and gardens and all that. And they have like 8, 9, 10 zones. And I don't know what their water bill was, but I had no interest in that. So I got it down to about 4 zones. But the first and most important zone is the zone that goes around the perimeter of the house. The next 3 are more the traditional, the pop-up things that, just spray water around on the grass. But the other one are these lines, these parallel lines that have sort of like T connectors on them where like one loop joins another loop. And so there's all these multiple points of failure where these little brown hoses push onto these barbed fittings. And this summer when I flipped it on like about a week ago, it was like over here because a hose would pop off of a barbed fitting, so I'd have to go turn it off and push it on and put a hose clamp on there.
Yeah.
And then turn it on again and listen until I heard somewhere over there on that corner of the house, and then go turn it off and run over and put a hose clamp over there. And so I feel like I've been like the little Dutch boy with the fingers in the dike, for the watering of the house foundation, and then wrestling with the air conditioning on that old car, and then changing the struts on the daily driver Ford Flex after 135,000 miles in 11 years. I guess, it doesn't owe me anything, but it's, just everything has been more difficult than it was supposed to be. And so as a result, I haven't gone anywhere near a soldering iron, or I haven't even, like I said, I think the only radio I've listened to in the last week and a half has basically been the classic rock FM station on the dashboard of whatever car I was in, going to Home Depot or going to the auto parts store and back for these other projects. So hopefully I'll eventually get through with all this stuff, and then I'll get back to good old fashioned frustration of trying to make old radios work.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I've hit my share of projects like that, where you think it's going to be not a big deal, and it turns out to take twice or three times the amount of time you thought you'd spend on it or more. And
Yeah. Well, especially when you had the plan, you had it all lined up and everything. Well, it says right here, it's like it's real easy to describe what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and then you go and try to do it, and it's like, oh, because when I finally decoded the belts to get two 60.5-inch belts, I should have known better. But when I got them, you get the fan belt, and it's in a little cardboard sleeve, and the two cardboard sleeves had the same part number on them, but like they were like a different font, and one was bigger than the other. So like clearly there was some age difference in the two belts. So when I took my two 60.5-inch belts home to put them on the car, they did go on. And then when I went to tension them by pulling on the alternator, one snugged up perfectly while the other one was flapping in the breeze, because they weren't both exactly 60.5 inches, because they were different lots and different ages or whatever. I'm old enough that I remember back in the day, 25 years, probably 30 years ago, you would have to, if you went to Napa, you could buy a matched set of belts. But about 20 years ago or so, they stopped offering that because, as the man behind the counter said, oh, the manufacturing tolerances are all so good nowadays that they all come out exactly the same, so we don't sell matched pairs anymore. These obviously must have been left over, so back to the auto parts store. And then, of course, to then be told, well, those are the only two we have. However, there's a store in the next town, they've got three. So like if you keep these two and go to the other store and get their three and lay them all out on the counter, you'll probably be able to find two that match and just take those two, and it's like, it was like, and the good news is the belts were like $10 a piece. It was crazy, so
yeah.
But I spent like 4 hours and $25 in gasoline to buy $20 worth of belts.
$50 in gas travel.
Yeah, and just in the back and the forth and the back and the forth, and it's just like,
yeah.
And now I didn't count on buying a new condenser either to do this, so it's like, I had to already buy the new compressor, and I had to buy the bracket, and I had to buy the fittings and the hoses, because of course on the RV2 compressor there's I'll call it a low and a high, but there's a suction side and a high pressure side. And on the RV2, the suction side is on the back of the compressor and the high pressure discharge line is on the front. Well, on a Sandon, it's a rotary compressor, and both ports are on the back, and they're kind of at about not quite a 45-degree angle. But as it turns out, the suction port, when you're standing in front of the car, the suction port is on the driver's side, and where that line has to go is way over on the passenger side, and vice versa. The high pressure line that's on the passenger side of the compressor has to go to the condenser that connects on the top driver side of the condenser. So like you got to come up with the right fittings so that the hoses can crisscross one another, and it's been a learning experience, and a humbling one at that, shall we say.
Indeed. Ugh. Well, good luck there. Hopefully you'll go overcome all these obstacles quickly enough.
It will get conquered, but I don't know how many years it's taking off my life, in order to do it. It's like the frustration level is just like through the roof. And
plus you've shrunk a few inches.
yes.
Because all we can see is like from your
Oh, I never
This
look
is
up at the
just
screen. Like,
That's
I'm
like
looking.
he's like the
I've just been thinking how much he looks like Kilroy.
Right.
Children, yeah.
or what is it, Home Improvement? The same thing with
Yeah.
the neighbor. Yeah,
Oh, the
it's-
Al,
That's right, yeah.
next door Al. Yeah.
I'm looking at you guys. I never look at myself. So I never, it's like,
I don't blame you.
yeah, exactly.
all
Well, now
right.
you look like you're
Carl's ready to take a
Dracula,
nap.
Carl looks like he's posing for his OnlyFans page.
There we
Oh,
go.
There we go. There you go.
OnlyFans.
You want a subscription, Bob?
It'll make you a good deal.
So
He'd be
that's the
my
name.
first
That's the name
member.
of that tune.
oh man.
But I did go to the Belton 4th of July fair in my convertible, or the 4th of July parade and car show, because that was in the morning before it got hot. I always go to the car show, 4th of July car show, because you get a good parking space when you're in the car show, and it's just a short walk to a nice place to view the parade. And every like float or exhibit that comes along in the parade has a little placard in the window with the number of the entry, because I guess there's awards for who had the best of this, that, or the other thing. So I'm standing there while watching this all go by, and it's a small town, and the parade route's about a mile and a half long. And I'm watching, the numbers keep going up and up, and I start peeking down the road, and there's no end in sight. And it's like, well, I'm going to wait for, let's see, we're on like number 73. I'm going to so hang out and just wait, maybe watch the first 100 things go by. And then it's like, there's still no end in sight. And it's like, well, maybe I'll hang out for 125, and then it was like, well, 150. And it's like, oh, come on, this is ridiculous. It's got to be over by 175. So basically about exhibit or float number 187, I bailed to go back over to the car show. They had over 200 things go by. I spoke to some of the organizers back over at the car show, and where the vendors and the food trucks and the overpriced corn dogs and all that stuff were. And I said, how many entries were there? Because that's crazy. I bailed at 187, and that was after like 2.5 hours. And he said, well, I can't really remember. I know it's over 200, but it's maybe like 217 or something like that. But what I do know is the parade route from where it started at the University of Mary Hardin Baylor, which used to actually be like the women's portion of Baylor University, which is up in Waco. Mary Hardin Baylor is in Belton. And from that college down Main Street to then Central Street to then to the end of the parade is a 1.5 mile long route. But the staging of all the floats and cars and horses and everything that were in the parade, the staging before they started the parade was 10 miles long.
Wow.
So they had 10 miles worth of people lined up to walk 1.5 miles through this silly parade in this silly little town in the middle of Texas.
That's funny.
They're very serious about, and I don't have a pic. I should have gotten a couple of pictures to put up for this, but I didn't think I was going to talk about this. They're nuts down here with the whole fireworks thing. Like the fireworks shacks that open up and forget, buy one, get 5 1 free, that's, whatever. That stuff is everywhere. But some of the signs on the shacks that sell this stuff, it's not like Roman candles or lady fingers or whatever. There are literally signs on these booths that say like quarter sticks.
Guaranteed to leave a 3-foot crater in your
quarter sticks of dynamite, artillery shells, it's like, it's crazy, just absolutely crazy. But that's why you have to water the foundation, because the concussion from the neighbors sending all the stuff up. If you don't have a good watered foundation, you'll get cracks, and stuff. It was nuts, but it was a good time.
I went with my dad on Sunday the 5th. We went to a car show at his old Plymouth, and there was a 64 New Yorker for sale there. It was all original, 4-door sedan. And
it's always a 4-door sedan.
Yeah.
There's those odd looking ones.
Yeah, $9,800 they wanted for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
383?
that was a good looking car. That had 64 new, the entire
You parked it-
Chrysler line. I like those cars.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I thought of you too, Noah, because it was parked out on the street. I don't know why you didn't bring it in the show. There was either a 61 or a 62, no, 60, the one with the fin, 61 or 60.
61. Yeah.
Imperial.
460.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a four-door hardtop, though. It was
Ah.
surprising he parked it on the street and didn't bring it in the car show.
Huh.
Sometimes, I mean, I didn't stay that the car show was like people had to start lining up for the parade sometime between like 7 and 8 in the morning because it kicked off at 9. The car show kicked off at 10 and was from 10 until 2. So I got down there around 8:30 so I could get a good parking spot so I could go watch the parade. And then I came back to the car show, but it was already getting, it's an asphalt parking lot. It's like by noontime or 12:30 or something. I was like, I'm not staying here till 2. It's like, it's going to hit by 1 o'clock. It's going to be like 91, 92 degrees on its way to 96, and it's like, I'm heading for home after that. So,
We did
Yeah.
the same
so
thing.
I
We got
don't, sometimes I don't pull all the way into the show because I don't want to get stuck in the show, until the end. They don't present whatever little silly wooden plaque or a little stupid trophy that, I'm not really interested in waiting
This
around
one-
till 2 o'clock for that stuff.
This one had no trophies, so we left about 1 o'clock too. We got there at 7:30.
Yeah.
That was long enough. It was starting to get hot.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, the cars are doing better as they age than the owners of the cars.
Exactly.
That's
The
funny.
car doesn't care that it's 92 degrees outside, but the owner's not too thrilled about it.
Well, when you're sitting next to it and the sun is baking off of it, I mean,
Yep,
you're getting an instant tan.
yep.
Indeed. Indeed.
Last Thursday, it made it to 103 here.
Yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, we haven't had I'm sure somewhere in Texas has, but right here, just about exactly in the middle of central Texas where we are, halfway between Waco and Austin. We've been between like 95 and I think maybe yesterday was 98, today was 97, but we haven't had our first 100-degree day yet.
Wow.
And every morning is, somewhere in the low to mid 70s. So I just get out and do things. I'm a morning person anyway, and it's light by 6 o'clock in the morning. So, by noontime or 1 o'clock, I've already had a 7-hour day. I'm about ready to come indoors and chill out.
Sure.
I don't think Bob was on when we were talking before, John. But like I said, next week here in Wisconsin, it's supposed to be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 94, 93, 95. So I imagine by the end of the week and the weekend, all the East Coast people are going to be getting the same thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be warm from what I've seen. But yeah, it's summer. We'll just have to kind of put up with it.
This is the time, the last couple 3 years since I moved down here, this was like my week to like go north to Pennsylvania where it's only like 92 to beat the heat. Leave the 102 behind in Texas to go to where it's only 92. But I guess the amount of rain that they had in the last week leading up to this, and then the heat coming on, it's going to be like hot and humid, and it's like, well,
that's always bad.
Ugh.
Yeah, indeed.
But it's summer. You don't have to shovel that.
That's true.
Very true.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I see that I am down to 12% battery anyway.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to charge this up anyway, but we're right at the witching hour anyway.
Yep.
Well, talk to Pierre about the battery. He'll help you out there.
There we go. Well, guys,
Trickle charger on that.
yeah, exactly. But it was a terrific meeting. Lots of interesting things shown and discussed as always. Thoroughly enjoyed this, and
Yeah, it was a nice meeting.
yeah, I enjoyed having you guys on as usual. And so 2 weeks from now, we'll have our next meeting. We'll pick up where we left off with the Wisconsin Antique Radio Club pictures you're going through, and maybe we'll get some Friedrichshafen photos, and I'm sure we'll find a way to fill the time with no trouble.
Yeah,
So,
see a never before seen by us Enigma machine, fresh from is it 3 or 4 rotor?
3.
Okay.
There you go. So we'll have some good show and tell on top of it. So yeah, it's all good.
I have to ask
Good
that
night, all.
question. I have to ask that question because that's like the only thing that could make me sound quasi-intelligent about anything.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let
It's
me let me
either-
ask. I'd like to ask Tom a question. Tom, are you familiar with a gentleman by the name of William Friedman?
Don't think so.
You don't think so? I found a video the other day, and maybe he was basically a former CIA director. He was in the, I forget, he was in the army, and he was supposedly one of them gentlemen that was able to get in and do the enigma deciphering during World War II. I didn't know if you were familiar with his name. I watched a video of it earlier today, and it was just a really good video.
It's interesting. I might take a look at it. The Enigma was first deciphered by three Polish mathematicians um, um, 10 years before World War II started. And they were cracking the code long before Turing and Bletchley Park and all that. And
Wow.
nobody knew it. And Turing took all the credit. That's all.
See,
I haven't
see,
heard of his name.
I'm going to have to bring that up the next time someone tries to tell me about dumb Polacks.
Yeah.
there you
You
go.
Usually,
saved the world, man.
Yeah,
usually,
exactly.
usually I just toss out Copernicus, you know.
Yeah, that's perfect.
There's a guy who's been flowing around YouTube lately, and I've been kind of, whenever I have some dormant time, watching a lot of his videos. But the guy's name is John Kirikow, and he's a Greek. He was a Greek immigrant, but he was also involved with the CIA, and he's been telling different CIA and spy stories, and that's how he brought up his name. And I didn't know if you were aware of him or not. So maybe in 2 weeks from now, I'll take a kind of clip from the video where I'll show it to you during the meeting.
Yeah, okay, that's great. There is a very famous guy named Friedman who cracked the Japanese code.
Or maybe that was him. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it was the German code that the fellow was saying that he had cracked. He was trying to, it's basically they were taking little bits of letters like one at a time. And when the letters started coming HH, then they knew it was German because Heil Hitler. And then from there, we were getting more and more letters. And then they were able to piece together full messages from the Germans. It's pretty interesting.
Right.
Well, maybe in 2 weeks we'll have a working GLF radio too.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. Go. So we'll have to get some status, on
I'll
these
almost
things.
guarantee you in 2 weeks we're not going to have work and air conditioning in the 1970s.
Well, you never know, but
Gotta have
we'll
faith.
see.
Gotta have faith.
If
All right.
Stay cool, everybody.
Yeah, you guys
Alrighty.
take care of yourselves. Good talking to you, and have a good 2 weeks, and we'll see you soon.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
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 Great night.
Bye, guys.